Good afternoon to Europe, and an excellent early morning to America, and also an inspiring evening to Asia. Welcome to the final event of the third edition of the Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge, and we are here for the final event of the first phase, our online challenge. My name is Silke Hemming. I'm responsible for the research team Greenhouse Technology within Wageningen University and Research, and today I will also be your moderator. The last 6 weeks, teams from all over the world have been working hard to develop algorithms to contribute to the future of autonomous greenhouses. In this first phase, the online challenge, we made an important step towards fully autonomous lettuce production. However, in this first phase, virtually. Everything was virtually. A special welcome to our teams, the team captains and all the members which are live here in this meeting or following us in the live stream. Another special welcome to all of our jury members, which I will introduce a little bit later. And of course, a warm welcome to all of our sponsors, to Tencent, Fluentsbouw Osram, Gebroeders Geers, Seagrow, letsgrow.com, Ridder, Hortiplan, Glastuinbouw Nederland and Casas Energiebron, and the Municipality Lansingerland. We are really happy to have them as a sponsor and to help us organizing this event. Welcome also to all the professionals of you out there, to all the startups, companies, researchers and students, and all of you following us today in the live stream. Are you also excited to see who won this first phase of the challenge? Well, I am. So let's see who is the winner. But before we do that, I would like to hand over to David Wallerstein. He is the Chief Exploration Officer of Tencent, and he wants to give you a very warm welcome and an introduction towards this challenge.
Hello, teams working on the Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge. Hope you're all doing great. Congratulations on making it this far in this year's hackathon. We've grown significantly over the years, and now we have over 250 people participating this year, coming from 50 different countries. Pretty amazing. So why do I think the work that you're all doing is very important? In 2017, I reached out to WUR to begin a collaboration around new technologies and horticultural productivity. From these discussions, our challenge was born. Since 2017, the signs of climate change have become even more clear. Just think about it. We see so many global droughts and even floods too, around us, affecting us around the world. They're all affecting agricultural productivity with more and more material impacts around the world. We see these heat waves that can endanger agriculture and plant health, and we're even seeing things like locust swarms and other new types of pest infestations. At the same time, the greenhouse industry has been growing. More investment's been coming into the space. There's more startups, and we even now see a whole new industry coming in for things like plant-based protein. Some regions have very important initiatives to grow food locally, and they're embracing greenhouses as a strategy. Even some nations are doing that now. As our planet's climate becomes more dynamic, horticultural indoor farming will become more and more important. With enough renewable energy, water, land, and other resources, we can perfectly control the environmental conditions under which our plants can thrive. And with AI like what we're building here, we've demonstrated year after year that we can outperform traditional human strategies, and that AI is a real game changer for boosting productivity in greenhouses by optimizing the various environmental and other conditions surrounding the health of the plant. So we need to accelerate our progress in this critical area that you are all working on. So thank you very much for participating. Thank you for taking an interest to drive the frontier of artificial intelligence and food production. And we wish you and all the teams the best of luck. Thank you again, and good luck.
Thank you very much, David, for this encouraging introduction. maybe to the audience out there, we first would like to explain what we did in this autonomous greenhouse challenge. For that, we have a video which we would like to share with you. And afterwards, my colleague Anna Petopoulou will guide you through some more details of this first phase of the online challenge, and also maybe share some fun things from us as organizer in the background. So please be prepared for the video.
Are you ready for another challenge? Because we do it again. The third autonomous greenhouse challenge is here, and this time it is going to be on lettuce. First, let's have a look on the roadmap so far. In 2018, Wageningen University and Research organized with the sponsorship of Tencent, a leading provider in internet services worldwide, and David Wallerstein, CXO of Tencent, the first international autonomous greenhouse challenge. The first edition was done on cucumbers, where we had one team outperforming the human reference. The second edition was done on cherry tomatoes, where we see that all the teams outperformed the manual human reference greenhouse. We are working intensively and we are ready to host the third international competition. We have recently completed our experiments in collecting useful greenhouse climate and crop data, as well as images that will be used for the phases of this year's challenge. You may ask yourself, why lettuce? Well, that is the best part. This time, everything must be autonomous. We would like the teams to have as a focal point the autonomy in their control algorithms for the greenhouse climate and the crop, rather than the complexity of the crop. With the current corona pandemic, that is more relevant than ever. You may ask yourself, how are we going to do this? In contrast to the previous edition, this challenge has 3 phases. In the first phase, teams of machine learning and computer vision experts will have the opportunity to prove their potential in an online hackathon that will take place in June. The online hackathon will have 2 phases, 2 parts. In the first part, images of lettuces will need to be annotated. For that, you will receive training images to prepare your algorithms, and the performance of the algorithms will be tested, of course, in a set of test images that will be unseen for you. In the second part, artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms will be needed in order to control a greenhouse climate and crop in a virtual greenhouse simulator. The winning team will have the opportunity to get a wildcard to the actual challenge, as well as a prize money with the second and the third best ranking teams. If you miss this opportunity, then you have another chance to prove your potential in a 24-hour hackathon that will take place in our facilities in the Netherlands. In the third phase, the best 5 ranking teams will get access to our online climate and crop simulator to train their control algorithms. Then they will have 1 greenhouse lettuce experiment in order to test this algorithm. However, as we said, this time it must be autonomous, so you really cannot change the settings of your algorithms. Results may be quite surprising, so you will get some time in order to refine your algorithms before trying them out in the last and final experiment that will define the winner of the third International Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge. We are very excited and we want you to be part of this challenge, so join us.
Well, welcome everybody also from my side. My name is Anna, and on behalf of our team, I would like to give you a short presentation of the online challenge of the third Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge. So I guess that you are all curious about our teams. On the 15th of April, we opened our registrations in our online platform, and by 1st of June, we announced 46 eligible teams that were able to join the first online challenge. And as you know, the Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge has an international character, so we have 24 different nationalities and more than 280 participants. Well, in these teams, we have a good gender balance participation with different age groups and different educational backgrounds. The backgrounds are ranging from bachelor, master, PhD students. We have researchers, lecturers, and postdocs, as well as professors, associate and full professors. Our members are working in the industry are working in research centers, as well as universities and startups. Well, in order for the teams to be eligible for this phase, they had to demonstrate professional and academic engagement in machine learning and computer vision. Despite not being mandatory, we were excited to see that the teams were engaging more expertise also from the field of horti and agriculture. Teams demonstrated with their publications examples of their daily professional activities, and they had also strong background in computer sciences, data sciences, AI, robotic, sensors, deterministic modeling, physiology, and other fields. Well, in our release video, we have given you a short description of the structure of the third Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge, but now let's have a closer look on this first phase of the online challenge. Well, in order for the teams to be eligible, they had to participate in two parts. That was part 1 of computer vision and part B of the machine learning. Let's have a closer look on the computer vision part. So prior to the start of the online challenge, we carried out experiments in our location facilities in Bleiswijk for 4 lettuce varieties, and that was Lugano, Salanova, we had the Satine and also Aphelion, and we grew these lettuces under different lighting conditions. We had 10 real-sense cameras installed in our greenhouse compartment in order to monitor the growth of the lettuces, and at the same time we were carrying out destructive harvests on sample plants during the cultivation period, which means that we had a setup, collecting images of individual plants, and at the same time we were annotating them with traits of particularly fresh weight and dry weight, diameter, height, and leaf area. So the objective for the teams for part A was minimize the normalized mean squared error of these particular traits. And how did they do that? In the beginning, they received from us around 281 pictures. These pictures were they had all the traits involved, they were annotated, and they were given to the teams in order to start the preparation of their algorithms. Then every next Monday, they were receiving 20 new images in order to test their algorithms. And the day after, every Tuesday, they were receiving the ground truth. So the objective was try to score the lowest error as possible. Then our second part was the machine learning part, which is the teams having access in our online climate and crop lettuce simulator in order to prepare the control algorithms. So they had to make decisions on an operational and on a strategical level. And in an operational level, we have decisions on lights, screens, CO2, and heating. And on a strategic level, we have decisions on the crop spacing. And crop spacing is the number of lettuces per surface of the cultivation area. So the objective of this part is that the teams are centralizing the controls in parameter files, sending these requests into our server, and from there they receive back simulation outputs. And these simulation outputs include information on the running costs, on the fixed costs, as well as on the realized production, and of course the states of the greenhouse climate. This information are used by the teams in order to learn and to improve the machine learning algorithms that they developed over this time. However, greenhouses are not the same. Therefore, we have provided the teams with different simulators. We had the A, B, C, and D simulator. And particularly, we made changes intentionally in these simulators in order to prepare them for the final event, that they experience something different. So we have different meteorological data, prices on electricity, the equipment, the preferred weight, and the product of the price of the product. The teams were able to post the results on part A and part B on their public ranking boards. The part A could have been done continuously by the teams, whereas on part B, they could only post the results through us every Monday. So what is really interesting here to see is that for part B, you see here that the 6 weeks that the teams had access to our simulator, and every Monday they could have access to a slightly different one. And what you see here is that Team One Planet as well as Team Lateral were 6 out of 6 weeks continuously on the top 5 teams. Next to that, we have Lettuce Win and CVA 5 out of 6 weeks being present on the top 5. And next to that, we have Team iSense also being 4 out of 6 weeks. Well, that is interesting to see later on if these results, we can see them also in the top 10 that will be announced from our jury. Well, here you see some of the results on the realized profit of the teams, the top 5 teams as scored in the final evaluation day. And what is interesting to see at this moment is that teams were really spot on their realized weight. So they managed to realize 240 grams as requested by us. We see teams that they are preferring to have short periods of 26 days, but with the use of artificial light, and teams that they were willing to extend and stretch a bit more their cultivation time without using artificial light. Well, also the prices of the product that they realized was more or less similar, but we see they got 55 cents per head of lettuce, and that was a function of their dry matter content realized in the simulator and the weight of the lettuce. Next to that, we have these top 10 teams that will be announced by our jury. Before that, let me share with you some fun facts. We had quite a lot of communication over these past weeks with the teams, quite a lot of emails. In part A, we have a lot of postings on the predictions of their images on the public board A. And we also see that they experienced some difficulties with the leaf area estimations, but they were very capable of spotting the outliers that were present in our data set. In part B, we see also a lot of traffic in our online simulator, and in this chart you can see how the frequency, how the activity actually of the teams over the months, over the weeks. And you see that more than 80% of the teams is active at the end of the online challenge. Finally, some other fun facts is that some teams might have been hiding. We have seen not very frequent posts in the second public board, so in board B, and only some limited posts, but we see them appearing at the end. So please wait for that. And finally, another last fun fact was on Tuesdays, we have seen teams realizing 0 errors because, of course, they received the ground truth values, and that was something fun to watch. Well, after that, I would like to give the word now to Silke, that she will also announce the jury. Thank you very much.
So welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed to have a sneak preview of all our teams in this amazing video. Let me get the opportunity to introduce also our international jury. First of all, I would like to ask Gert Kootstra from the Netherlands to introduce himself.
Yeah, hello, morning, afternoon, midday for everyone. My name is Gert Kootstra. I'm an assistant professor with expertise in machine vision and robotics and applications in agriculture and horticulture. I'm very pleased to be part of the jury, and I'm looking forward to the presentations of the winners.
Thank you, Gert. Next, I would like to ask Cheri Kumar from the United States of America to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cheri Kumar. I'm a professor at the Ohio State University, Columbus, Ohio, USA. I'm also in the Department of Horticulture Crop Science. My background includes plant physiology and also horticultural engineering. I'm also serving as a new director of the new research center called Ohio Controlled Environment Agriculture Center. I'm so glad to be part of this important event for the future of CEA. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheri. Next, I would like to move to Asia. Dijun Luo, may I ask you to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Dijun Luo. I'm very glad to be invited to be the jury member. I got my PhD in computer science from University of Texas at Arlington, and my background is in machine learning and artificial intelligence. And currently, I am a principal scientist in Tencent AI Lab, and I'm the head of the Tencent AI agriculture team.
Thank you, Dijun. We move back to Europe. Next would be Casey Steppe from Belgium.
Hello, my name is Kati Steppe. I'm full professor at Ghent University, the Faculty of Bioscience Engineering, and also steering committee member of Ghent Agrotopia. Basically, we use plant sensors and plant models to better understand and study the dynamic response of plants, being trees and crops on the environment. We also develop plant-based control systems, and it's a real honor to be a part of the jury today. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. And then I move to the municipality of Lansingerland. Jan-Willem van den Beukel.
Yes, good afternoon, morning, evening, everyone. Jan-Willem van den Beukel is my name. I'm the vice mayor of the municipality of Lansingerland. We are very proud to host these facilities of Wageningen University. As what people say is the most innovative horticulture municipality in the world. I'm from a family of growers in cucumbers and peppers, so I have no expertise myself, only in public policy, but a fervent supporter of all these things that we're talking about today. I wish you all the best of luck in this challenge. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and you're also very much in sustainability, so that helps in here. Then I move to very important persons, Mark and Roy Dalison. They are lettuce growers in the Netherlands. Mark, are you there? Well, if we cannot get that to work, then I introduce Mark and Roy. They have a very high-tech lettuce company in the Netherlands, more than 50 years. They deliver their products to many countries, from seed to packaging, and they make use of a lot of high-tech technology within their greenhouse. And we are we're very proud to have them in the jury, and I'm sure you will meet them in next phases of the challenge live, whoever is joining. Then last but not least, I would like to introduce Spiros Fountas, who will also guide us through the winning ceremony. But please first introduce yourself, Spiros.
Yes, thank you very much, Silke. Hello, everyone around the world. I'm very honored to be part of this jury and also presenting the jury and present also the results of the winners. Myself, I'm Associate Professor, Agricultural University of Athens and Head of the Agricultural Engineering team. So we have been working very strongly on computer vision, machine learning, and precision agriculture technologies for various cropping systems. And I would like to say also that this challenge is very timely because massive vision computer vision, machine learning computer vision is the future, and it's going to also help also to reach the 70% more increase of the food for the next 30 years together with the greenhouse cultivation. Thank you.
So I think I will leave you on the screen, Spiros. Then I can hand over to you to announce the winners.
Thank you. So I guess everybody is very excited now. The whole group is very excited to see the winners, the top winners. And before we move to the 10 best teams, it's also good to see which are the teams that have been placed to positions 11 to 16. So if you can see now, position number 11 is Leithu. Position number 12 is bay leaf. Number 13 is last plant. Number 14 is lettuce wing. Number 14 is cyber plant. And number 16 is one planet. What is very important to mention, as you can see in these circles, that some of the groups have really done very well in these positions. For example, the lettuce wing and the one planet have done excellent on score B, the machine learning, while, for example, the cyber plant has done extremely well also on score A on computer vision. So after this position, now it's time to start presenting the 10 best teams. Of course, we'd like to say that as part of the jury, we believe that everybody who has contributed to this challenge is winner. They have learned a lot. It's a very, very hard challenge, lots of commitment, and we would like to congratulate you, all of you, not only the next 10 teams. But we now start with the best 10 teams. And position number 10 is AGAI from USA, California. So you have actually placed number 20th in part A and number 2nd on part B. Congratulations. And we move to number 9. Number 9 is the JHU APL from USA, Maryland. So you have been placed in position number 8 in part A and number 14 on part B. Congratulations. We are moving to number 8 position. This is the AI Sen X from China. So you have position in number 15 in part A and number 6 in part B. Again, congratulations. And now we're moving to number 7, which is the lateral from Romania. So you have been placed number 1 in part A in computer vision, in position number 20th in part B, which is the machine learning. Congratulations. And we are moving to number 6, number 6. Number 6, which is the AG Love AI from China. And then you have been positioned number 10th in part A, computer vision, and position number 9th on machine learning. Congratulations. And now we go to number 5, which is Monday Lattice from South Korea. So you have been placed number 2nd in part A and number 17th in part B. Congratulations. And now we're moving to number 4, which is the KALS SF from South Korea. You have been placed number 4th on computer vision part and number 10th on the machine learning. Congratulations. And now
it's important that the rest of the team captains also turns on their cameras, right?
Yes, exactly. Before we move, so I hope the next of the teams, now we can see them. So that's the moment for the best 3 winners. So I do hope that you all be very excited to see the best 3 positions. Congratulations before that. It's always normal to say a few things before we go to see the results and to say again, thank you for your commitment and the very high scores, and not to keep you waiting and be super excited. We start with the number 3, and number 3 is actually coming from China. Can you see? Can you see the number 3 or not yet in the screen? No? Can you see or not?
No, maybe we can proceed with the announcement of the naming.
Okay, because, the number 3 then is from China, as I said, and this is the IUA CAS ICANNETIS from, yes, and the responsible, I think, is Xiao Yang, right? You can raise hand. Who is the number 3? Can you please raise your hand? Okay, very good. So you have been number 9 in part A in computer vision, and you have been in number 4 in part B. And now the biggest excitement is for the final 2, and so the the second best team of all the very good teams and all the winners is actually from South Korea, and this is the CVA. So it's Hee Kun Ryu, right? If I pronounce well. Can you please raise your hand so we can see? Congratulations. You can be in 3rd position for part A, in the 7th position in part B. Congratulations. And now the final and the biggest winner of this competition, as you can imagine, comes from USA, and this the Koala team. Big congratulations. I really like also your message. You say, I have all the qualifications. So you do have the qualification to be the winner of this great challenge. Congratulations. You can be number 6 in part A and number 1st in part B. Could you please raise your hand? The winner, congratulations. So again, congratulations to all the team. And we are very happy as part of the jury to go through this process. And I think I'll pass it back to Silke.
Yeah, I think then it's time to have the presentations of our 3 winners, right? And I would say we start with rank number 3. So with Xiao Yang, to give the presentation first. Then I need our technical staff to put the presentation on the screen. And while we are waiting for that, let me use the time to give some personal congratulations to our first 3 teams, but also all of our teams, because we think that you did really extremely well. Thank you really very much for participating. And now we are very much looking forward to see a little bit more details what the teams did, and to learn why they were number 3, number 2, or number 1. The floor is yours.
Okay. Okay. Dear committee, dear participants, dear team members, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm very proud on behalf of my team that has ranked number 3 to deliver this presentation here. My name is Xiaoyang, and I'm very honored to briefly introduce our strategies using the online challenge on behalf of my team. We are IUA CAST and ICON Natives team from China. And as you see here, our team members consist of 9 members. Among them, 5 members, Mr. Zhu, Mr. Kang, Mr. Zhang, Mr. Ge, and Mrs. Zhang are from Beijing Icon Technology Company Limited, one of the best turkey solution suppliers of intelligence agriculture in China, who wishes to become the leader of modern agriculture and help secure food safety in China. In this challenge, ICON is responsible for algorithm design. My colleagues, Dr. Bian, Mr. Yuan, sorry, the slides are not right. Can we go back? Okay, the third one. Okay, my colleague Dr. Bian, Mr. Yuan, Ms. Yuan, and I are from IUA CAS, which plays a botanic advisor role in the team. As you know, we start to prepare for the Greenhouse International Challenge for quite a long time. Another IUA CAS team ranked number 4 in the Tomato Challenge last year. Professor Huang is the leader of the Protected Horticulture Engineering and Technology Group from Shanghai Jiao Tong University. She offers algorithm advice during the challenge. Okay, the next. The Part A challenge is leading by Mr. Zhu. As shown here, we attribute this task as regression and then extract the necessary information from original images with our graphene cutting algorithm. We use RGB characters and deep image analysis to obtain pixel related to target lettuce only. Classification of the horticultural types of lettuce is the most important task before exploring the algorithm further. Therefore, we brought 4 varieties information into our model. This unknown key was obtained by the classification model based on CNN. 4 varieties was digitalized as layered 1, 2, or 3 for input array use. Use domain knowledge and computer science knowledge. We choose the important image features, including maximal or minimal diameters of the selected lettuce, length, width, and area, and undulation of leaf blade margin for further modeling, with radial ground truth as a label to train our ANN. Okay, the next. Yeah. As shown here, we attribute this task. Sorry. The fifth slide. Okay. Our team's performance can be seen from the public board in previous weeks. Most of the time, our algorithms can give a considerate result, but sometimes the error can boost dramatically into 20, even 30% by one strange value. The advantage of our model includes the light architecture of CNN or ANN leads to a rapid construction and deployment. Moreover, as the size of the training data increases, our model can obviously better predict with low error. Also, one trait, one model results are not influenced by each other. On the other hand, our algorithm also meets some challenges. Our model could predict the trends in the lettuce population, but the subset difference is hard to describe, especially in the baby leaf period of the lettuce growth stage. The interaction of the 5 traits used in the challenge cannot be reflected in our model. Also, from image input to numbers input, the visible error is observed. In addition, there is a poor response to weird lettuce. Okay. The next. For part B, this part is leading by Mr. Kang. In this part, our strategy is to figure out the most significant parameters in the climate control setup, and then turning the parameters to achieve the highest balance. We figure out 4 most sensitive components with our data analysis approach: temperature, density, carbon dioxide, and light supplement. Temperature is the most difficult parameter to set due to its high degree of freedom. There could be as many as 24 independent set points, and each set point has its temperature value. To solve this, we simplify the complexity to mean temperature and temperature difference. By combining the 2 factors with the outside environment, our model generates the 24-hour set points. Similarly, density also has a high degree of freedom. The model automatically tunes the density stage and density value to ensure the fastest growing of the lettuce. The output of the simulator feedbacks to our model as input to improve the performance until the maximal balance is obtained. Okay, the next, yes. Here is an example. The top left chart shows the density turning result, in which the max fraction of ground covered never reached 0.9 to prevent ghost inhabitation. The chart also shows the trends of the DMC, and the model ensures the DMC as high as possible. The top right chart shows the temperature set points along with the realized greenhouse temperature. The result indicates that the temperature set point can effectively control the indoor temperature to reach the mean temperature and temperature difference targets. The bottom chart shows the balance with or without light supplement, in which the orange is the realized balance, and the blue is the potential balance. Potential balance is a theoretic maximal balance, and the density stage with the maximal potential balance should be applied. The orange bar should eventually approach the blue bar after a certain amount of iteration. The high balance strategy with or without light supplement should be applied. Finally, I want to thank my team and thank you all for your hard work. It was my great pleasure on behalf of the team to explain our strategies. Thank you all for your listening.
Thank you very much for this great overview of all the work you did. With that, I would like to invite the second placed team, Hee Kyung Ryu. I'm sure I don't pronounce it right, but I would like to give the floor to you to explain also your strategy, and I'm sure we can also learn from that part. So also for that, if the technical stuff is ready, the floor would be yours.
Hi. Greetings from South Korea. And I couldn't prepare the team introduction, so let me briefly introduce my team. We are team CVA, the crop vision and automations, and we are composed of lettuce grower, myself, and machine learning engineers, software engineers, and full stack programmer and data scientist. And we all come from different backgrounds, but we are very passionate in learning new things, and we're very much interested in agriculture areas, and especially when it comes to greenhouse automation, we all agree that it is necessary technologies and parts to be achieved and developed in the near future in agricultural industry. And we're quite enthusiastic about the challenge task, and we're greatly thankful to be given the opportunities to participate in the challenge. So let me introduce part A first. So first, for image pre-processing, we used RCNN segmentation to mask lettuce from the image based on their location and size. And then we did the we cropped image from the center point to the size of 600 by 600. Next, then we've performed the data augmentation by adjusting angles and brightness of the images. And then we merged a green channel of RGB image, masking image, and depth image into 3 layers. Then we finally did the normalization for RGB and depth image, and we also normalized. We also proceeded the target value normalizations. So for depth image, for instance, we needed to narrow down the depth value range from the original image based on the histogram. So as you can see the figure down below, the depth image value range is quite large. So this needed to be readjusted to come up with the better results. So for network architectures, so for this, we use 3 different models, which are ResNet 50D, ensemble model, and DenseNet 1-to-1 models. Actually, we tried many different models, and we believe that, and we figured out that ResNet 50D and ensemble model were the best performing models among that we've tried. But we leave out the DenseNet 1-to-1 for the control. So for ensemble model, to be specific, we used a ResNet 50D and DenseNet 1-to-1 as backbone networks. And here we used a green channel and mask and depth layers for ResNet and RGB layers for DenseNet because we wanted to incorporate RGB data into our models. So for the final decision rules, we tried a different combination of these 3 different models and estimated the best performing model combination. So as you can see, our best performing model was the combination of ResNet50D and ensemble model. We tried all this different combination because we wanted to find the model with the least loss value to estimate the accuracy of each model and to leave out the outlier. And for part B, our initial approach towards machine learning was to use reinforcement learning models such as DQN and SAC. So we first put each parameters like a temperature, CO2, and screen settings, and etc. as a state value. And then we simply stated our action to be up or down, depends on the rewards value, which is in this case is the net balance. But with the interdependency of the parameters, we found that the algorithm was not so effective. And more to that, we had iteration limits in our simulator, which is 200 in the case of simulator D. So with the limited time and data that we had, we took a different approach of optimizations. So we basically decided to create our own function equation for optimizing each parameter value. So, and to do that, there were major findings that we came across while communicating with simulators, and we used this information as the basic knowledge to build our functions. So first finding is that the dominant terms, we found the dominant terms in the simulator was that the product gain was a rather, it's more dominant rather than the cost. And the second finding was that when radiation value is high, the temperature and CO2 needs to be higher in order to maximize the product gain. And the third finding, especially for the crop schedule, we found that with higher plant density and shorter end dates, we could get higher price per head values. So these are the major 3 findings. And also in more to that, we also incorporated some of agricultural knowledge to build our functions. So for instance, on the early stage of the crop, more energy efficient setting, which is a less CO2, lower temperature, such energy efficient setting is more beneficial in terms of growth and economy. And also we found out that there were certain rules about vent and screen settings, and also radiation temperature ratio theory, which is in line with our major finding that I mentioned earlier, raise the temperature, CO2 with radiations. So this is just a simple example that how we analyze the data that we receive from the simulator. And these are some of the information that we consider to optimize the temperature set points and also other parameters in such ways. So to conclude, we took a comprehensive approach to optimize the parameter value, which means that we very much reflected a lot on the findings that we discovered from the simulators and also the agricultural knowledge on greenhouse control. And we believe that there are definitely a lot of room for the further development of our approaches. And if condition allows, we would like to try different approaches of machine learning to find optimum values for interdependent parameters of greenhouse control. And that would be it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this really nice overview and also stating your approach and challenges. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Then we move to our winning team. Team Koala. The team captain is Kenneth Tran. And for those in the audience who have followed us from the beginning, from the first edition of our Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge, those people might recognize Ken, because in the first edition, he was also team captain of the winning team in our greenhouse growing experiment. Ken, welcome back again, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Silke, and I feel very humbled and also surprised that we came up top in this online challenge, because when I look at the profiles of the other teams, they look amazingly strong and very, very strong, much stronger than the teams that I have seen in the past, including the teams in the top 3 and top 10, and also outside of top 10. So some little introduction about our team. So our team is Koala, and the name comes from the combination of Koidra, which is our AI startup for agriculture, and Glaze, which is a lighting consortium led by people at Cornell University and Rutgers University as well. Next, please. So I would like to move forward quickly to our approaches. For the computer vision approach, we use standard toolkits that are very popular in computer vision and deep learning. They are also used by the other teams as well. So first, we do segmentation of the images so that we can train more easily. And so because we supplied the RGB as well as the depth images, we apply the segmentation to both, and then we feed them into the ResNet models. Next, please. Next slide, please. So for our final model, we combined 2 submodels. One is a linear model, and the other is a gradient. Actually, 3 models. So first, we have the linear model, and then we have the second boosting model. And the boosting model is to the gradient boosting trees model to improve upon the linear models. And those models act upon some features such as the diameters of the plant in 2D, just based on the pixels, the areas, the height of the plant according to the depth images. And then we also have the third model, which is the CNN model, to correct. So the second model also corrects upon the first model, and the third model corrects upon the second model. So it's a boosting framework. And for the CNN, this is our. Oh, sorry. Next slide, please. This is our model architecture, and we use ResNet 50, which is very popular and small enough to avoid the problem of overfitting, because we have a very small data set with relatively compared to many other computer vision challenges on the internet. So. And then we have we trained a few models, and then we computed the ensemble, what is the summation, the averaging of multiple models of multiple CNN models to have the final residual model. So that is the approach, the overall approach for our computer vision algorithm. And next will be our approach for part B, the machine learning and simulation. So we have a framework, and it's actually not new, but it's new in the sense that it's a principled framework for sample efficient reinforcement learning. And in this framework, we combine all the available signals that is given to us. So one signal is called the prior, or the domain knowledge. It's very common that in AI, there are two camps. So one is based on purely domain knowledge, and another is purely data-driven. And in our experience, neither approach will work very well in practice. The issue with relying on only domain knowledge is that it's not very scalable. It doesn't generalize well to different situations. The main issue with machine learning, with machine learning only on data, is that very often we don't have huge data to begin with, and those data only approach missed the very important signal from the experience. And if we think about it, experience is actually a model. Experience is a model. We humans have learned from data for millions of years. So it is a model. We just don't get to see the raw data. So by combining the experience, our scientific knowledge, the understanding of mathematical modeling and physics and crop sciences, it's an ensemble approach in a way. And of course, that's the high level idea. So what's unique about our approach is that we can combine it in a scientific way using mathematical models. Next slide, please. One very unique asset that we have, and it's not super interesting from the AI standpoint, is the data visualization tool. So data visualization is, so if you just plot the raw time series like many other toolkits do out there, that's trivial. But how can you plot actionable? How can you provide actionable data visualization? It's actually quite challenging. It requires experience and domain knowledge and understanding what to visualize, and being able to seamlessly visualize complex relationships is also hard. And our toolkit, so we have the internal, and this is also available to our customers as well. So our tool allows the users, and in this case the domain researchers, to visualize some complex relationships very quickly. So if they think that, oh, we should try to visualize this and that, or some complex metrics, then it doesn't take them much time to. It's instant, so they can do it very quickly. And for many other teams or companies, if they have something they want to try, they may have to ask the software engineers or some other people to do some extra programming before they can do so. So having the tool makes the hard part also easy. And next, please. So this is our actual algorithm. So this is the diagram for our algorithm. So we combine. So we have the human experts in the loop with use all the tools that we provide. They do the submissions manually for just random data, for both random data collection, so which is exploring, and also for trying to optimize with it exploiting. So reinforcement learning is all about explore and then exploit. The balances between explore and exploit. So we submit, and then all the results are fed into our database, and then we also have the model-based reinforcement learning algorithm. So why model-based? So we have a model. So we have a predicted model that is used for our reinforcement learning algorithm, and the construction of the predicted models, or digital twin, if some people call it digital twin, used both the domain knowledge as well as the predictions just from data for correcting the human's assumption. And that is the and so that's how we embed the domain knowledge into the machine learning model. And the controller in the reinforcement learning algorithms does the optimization. It's a constraints optimization that we took, and so with this I would like to conclude my portion of the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and also a big applause to you. Thank you for taking us into your algorithms and approach. May I ask all the three team captains back on the screen, because I would like to dig into that with them more and discuss on the future of autonomous greenhouses. Thank you for coming back here, and I already have some first detailed questions from one of our jury members in the chat, and I would like to do that first before I ask you more general questions. First, I would like to go back to Xiao. The question is coming from Gert Kootstra, and it is on the part A of your approach. He says there is a relationship between the image features and the plant traits, and that it is probably different for the different varieties of lettuce. We had the red and the green, and also the more or less curly. How did you deal with that? Did you learn to detect the crop variety first in the image and learn different models per variety, or how did you approach that?
Thank you. Thank you for these questions. As for me, I'm an expert on lettuce cultivation. We think the classification of different varieties is vital important. Is vital. I mean, to answer this question, I would like to introduce our model that we use the classification model at first. Use RGB characters to classify the green lettuce and the red varieties, and based on their features on the area or on the diameters, we classify the different types of red lettuce and or the green lettuce. But as I said in the presentation, it's very hard to distinguish the baby leaf period in the lettuce growth stage, because they are very close. I mean, for the green varieties or the red varieties, So we are still improving our model. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I have another question in more detail from Gert Kootstra, and this question is going to Team CVA, and it's on the part B of the challenge. So first of all, he says he appreciates very much that you used reinforcement learning, but he also points out, and you saw that as well, that the state action space to explore is very large, yeah? So you need a lot of training iterations for that. And so you also, in your approach, you used prior knowledge from the agricultural domain, which probably makes sense. But Gert would like to hear more about your thoughts about this combination of prior knowledge and reinforcement learning.
Actually, we couldn't actively involve reinforcement learning on this challenge, but as we proceed, we thought that we had like too much controls to inputs, which makes the problem more complicated. So we incorporated more of the agricultural knowledge, like human strategy, as a potential initial parameters. So for example, like the range of the temperature set points, such, and it seems working. So maybe for the next further improvement, maybe we could incorporate more of the reinforcement learning in developing our algorithm and the strategies.
Yeah, thank you very much for your answer. I have a very general question to continue with. And it comes from Cheri Kumar. And the question is, have one of you ever grown real lettuce in a greenhouse or in a garden? Maybe all of you can give a very short answer.
I myself is a grower, and I am actually growing lettuce in greenhouse. And it's actually a very similar conditions with the simulator the simulator environment that you've given. So yes, I've grown lettuce.
Great. The others?
I can answer first. No. Well, so we have team members, especially from Glaze, who have a lot of experience in growing lettuce. But for the online challenge, but the Coidra team, none of us has had any experience growing lettuce.
Okay. And Xiao, how was that for you?
My answer is yes. As a grower or a scientist, we want to innovate new technology to help the farmers to improve their techniques.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And one question coming from Jan Willem van den Beukel. So first of all, he congratulates you all, and he has the question. So if you would be able to apply your insights, your approach, would you also do it on a real greenhouse? And maybe it's easy to ask this question to Yi. Would you do it now? Would you go for it in your own greenhouse?
Maybe not yet, because we found out that it's too much resource consuming to perform well in the simulator, which is like high CO2 and very high temperature and high illumination level. So maybe when we find more optimal parameter values and more optimal temperature or other values for the greenhouse control, then maybe I would actually apply the the model to the real world.
Okay. Another question, Spiros, you can ask the question maybe yourself.
Yes, I think another question is, when do you think these autonomous greenhouses, like applying this challenge in practice, do you think will come as a mainstream practice in agriculture? Like short term, mid term, long term? Who would like to start coming answering that?
Can you have a startup? Maybe you can answer that question.
I thought so too. Ken could say that. When do you think you're going to make money from farmers selling that?
Yes. So I think that so for the online challenge, there are some limitations in the simulator. There are some limitations in the data sets, etc. But the idea of autonomous greenhouse is very real, and we wouldn't have our startup if it's not real, right? And we also have large existing customers doing trials with us. So many growers, many growing companies are also believing in this technology. And we don't just provide the technology to the customers. We also dog food the technology ourselves by developing our own greenhouse in Vietnam, and that greenhouse will be autonomous, right? So we will put our money where the technology is, right? If we don't believe in it, that one would burn into the ground very easily.
Yeah, so that is an excellent answer to that question, I think.
Indeed, and very promising also for the future of AI in greenhouse, of course.
Yeah. I have another question on the chat coming from Gert Kootstra. It is to all teams, and it's mainly on the part B, the machine learning. Are there strategies that the AI methods came up with that surprised you, so that would differ from general strategies used in current practice? Who would like to answer that question? Maybe you pointed out in your presentation that several strategies came out which you did expect. So were there also strategies which you didn't expect?
Well, actually, there are some of it, because like I mentioned earlier, that different from the real life, different from the real greenhouse, the model requires us to use a very resource intensive strategy to grow the crops in a better way. So that sort of surprised me in a way. And another part was for the vents and the ventilations and the screen strategies. In agricultural knowledge in general, I believe that the vents needs to be open accordingly with the wind speed and other outer environment. But then those sort of strategy doesn't really applied in the simulator, which is different from the real practice. So those are the some of the surprise that I've experienced during the developments of the AI algorithms.
Okay. I think that is very recognizable. I remember the very first autonomous greenhouse challenge, and to some extent also the second autonomous greenhouse challenge. Teams were also finding out that sometimes it's better to use more resources and get a better net profit. Although from a sustainability point of view, in really absolutely reducing resources, that might not be the right strategy. But here it's net profit, so correctly found, right? Maybe also the same questions to the other speakers. Xiao, did you find strategies which surprised you, which you didn't expect came out?
Actually, yes. In my experience, the density is very important in a real world. But here, we separate the cultivation stage into maybe 5 or 6. But in a real world, it's unbelievable, because if you transplant the lettuce, you get more labor cost. But here it's not. So that surprised me. Yeah, but I think maybe in the future we can, calculate. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and it will depend probably also on the system. There are a lot of systems highly automated. Of course, then you have the investment and depreciation costs, but less the labor costs. So it will depend a little bit in reality how much it will increase. But it's a good observation. Thanks for that. The same question also to Ken. Were there things which you didn't expect and came out there?
Yes, so there were limitations that we did expect, such as there's no disease and pest models in the simulator. So we could exploit the high humidity. We wouldn't worry about that. There's no, but there was surprises as well that we only saw during the online challenge, such as the ground, the fractional ground area. So there's a threshold 0.9, 90%, and it seems very arbitrary. If we go beyond that, then the performance just collapse. So, and I don't know where that threshold comes from, but that was a surprising element. So we had some experience through the prior years with vine crops, but automating the plant density through the spacing system is also a very good learning experience for us, and I think that we came up with a very nice algorithm for how to control the spacing correctly. Yes, so I think they are the major surprises to us.
Yeah, thank you very much for pointing out some interesting observations. Maybe to you and to all the audience, it is a gaming environment. So you have to face some surprises. And I think for those who participated in this challenge before in the hackathon in former years, they will see that our gaming environment sometimes very much differs from reality and gives just some assumptions, and you have to deal with it. It's about developing algorithms and deal with the goal, right? So it's not always reality. And maybe it's better like that.
I would like to also emphasize that so this is the second time I myself participate in the challenge, and before the first challenge, our team had no prior knowledge about growing cucumbers or even greenhouse horticulture. And in this challenge, there were a lot of surprises in terms of the outcomes, but the data-driven way of growing, like just trying to optimize based on the data that we observe, that is highly applicable, and that can be easily transferred to reality.
Thank you very much. And I would like to pass also one of the remarks of Jan-Willem van den Beukel. He shares an observation in the chat that also in former years we reached a better productivity and at the same time a lower resource use. So resource use efficiency was really increased by the use of AI in these experiments. And this is something what we also see now in this online challenge, that you, by using AI algorithms, you can make that combination of high productivity and low resource use in order to feed the world with less resources and more sustainable sustainable production. Yeah, with that, I think we have to also end our Q&A session. I would like to thank all the teams, not only the 3 winning teams, but all of the teams for participating here. But before I do that, I also want to mention to you, Ken, and to the audience, the place #1 team gets a wild card directly for our growing experiment starting beginning of next year. So very much welcome for that. So you don't have to enter the hackathon in the next phase. You will get one of our greenhouse compartments if you wish to participate in the second phase. Of course, you get a wild card for this phase. And to all the other team members, I would like to point out that the detailed scores for Part E, for Part B, so the numbers of the performance, but also the ranking and the total ranking will be published also on our website, that everyone can review that in more detail. Yeah, with that, I hand over once more to my colleague Anna, who will guide us to what is next.
Yes, so the results very shortly, you can see them also in this slide. Please, as Silke said, we all encourage you to join the hackathon, and for that we will have a look on the important dates. Today we finish the online challenge. Tomorrow we start the registrations for the hackathon. So please, you can find in the autonomousgreenhouses.com, our platform, the registration forms, so you can submit your registration with your team. The registrations are open from the 15th of July until the 1st of September, and then we will contact you depending on the eligibility criteria that are also announced on the website, whether you have been admitted for the hackathon, yes or no. So the hackathon will take place on the 4th and 5th of November in our facilities in Bleiswijk. Of course, depending on the situation of Corona, we might have only the team captains present at our location. This is something that will be announced at a later stage. And next, we have the growing experiment. We already might have the team that occupies the first greenhouse. That starts 1st of February, and it is expected to finish end of June. After that, within this period, the teams will have 2 cultivation cycles, one for the testing and one for the evaluation of the algorithms. And of course, the winner will be announced with a second phase in the final event that will be on July 2022. Having said that, I would like to thank you all also from my side for this for your participation, and of course our sponsors. If you have any questions, you can always contact us in our email or visit our website.
Thank you very much, Anna. So I think it's time to wrap up. Today we learned more about the possibilities to have fully autonomous greenhouses in the future. At least we made some first steps in growing lettuce virtually fully autonomously. So we are excited also to move on to the other phases where we do the real thing, growing fully autonomously lettuce in real greenhouses. I would like to congratulate once again Team Koala with their first prize, and I would like to congratulate all other teams with their great achievements and the results they obtained. Really very well done. I would like to thank our jury, which will also come back in the next phases of our autonomous greenhouse challenge, and there have an even more active role in judging the teams and their approaches. And like Anna already said, we would like to thank our sponsors, Tencent, Fluence bij Osram, Gebroeders Geers, Seagrow, Let'sGrow.com, Ridder, Hortiplan, Glastuinbouw Nederland, and Gasses Energiebron, and the Municipality of Lansingerland, because without them, this autonomous greenhouse challenge would not be possible. A warm applause also to all of my colleagues in the background, because without them we could not have organized this challenge and also this final event. So I hope you enjoyed this seminar. Stay creative, combine RE and horticulture, build strong networks all together, and let's move forward to the future of autonomous greenhouses. Keep following us, and I hope to see you all back in the future. Bye-bye.